To the Batmobile. Let's go.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
All right. Base Boy Banner, episode 137. Back in the house. Thor, Brian, doing our thing, shooting a little video. I'm super excited, though, for Rise of Skywalker. My anticipation has been tepid at best.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, these like little mini clips started coming out, like not a full trailer, but just like these little like 30-second TV spots.
Okay.
And I started watching every one to get a notification every time it dropped, and I'd watch it. And I don't know why, but like I'm starting to get more and more amped for this movie because I'll be honest, Mandalorian almost, and I know I'm not alone in this, has a lot of people like Ray who like. Let's go down different pathways, right? Well, because it's such a vast galaxy, because it's so interesting, let's just get away from these people. It might hurt the box office for Rise of Skywalker. I don't think it will, but it might.
This is the thing. I get a little frustrated with how people talk about Mandalorian compared to like the main Star Wars stuff because they're just so... Like, they don't have a good reason. Like, they're always like, well, it just feels like Star Wars. Where the movies just, they don't have that Star Wars feeling. And I'm like, but what is that?
No,
like, that's like describing, like, oh, man, this chicken, it just doesn't taste like chicken. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, you can't describe it. Like, you're just making up words because you didn't like something or did like something. That's fine.
I think for me, the feel of Star Wars goes to like the world that they've been building in The Mandalorian, right? That it's more of a lawless world, and then building the stuff around him that makes it feel like more Star Wars to me. And then just like even the stormtroopers in the beginning, how they're like dirty, and you can tell the Empire's fallen, and there's like little pocket resistance stuff. And then for me, like I understand what the new movies and what people are talking about is like it's
not even, we're talking like prequels, new movies, all of it. Everyone's like, yeah, the original three,
yes,
Mandalorian feels like that.
If you're talking like, yes, because it's set on a lot of desert lands, they use a lot of...
They use deserts in the prequels. You can't be like, oh, there's deserts and dirty people, and like, that doesn't mean anything.
I know. But the world feels the same as the world post-Empire, right? No, because you're not in the prequels, you're in the realm of the Republic.
But it still feels like the same universe, just a different time.
No.
Yes, it does.
Feels like a different universe.
It does. I mean, just because the movies suck doesn't mean it doesn't feel like you're in Star Wars.
I like all
There's
of the
lightsabers
movies.
and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, this is Star Wars. There's nothing about this.
There's no lightsabers. Here's the thing. There's no lightsabers in Mandalorian, as we've seen yet. Well, I can't say a lot without spoiling things because you're
right. And I'm not trying to say like Mandalorian's bad. What I'm saying is I feel like people the way they describe this.
Don't knock it on the boat because of this though. I'm just telling you, and there is a reason why they're saying it because I have the same feeling. Like Mandalorian it's not that it feels more Star Wars, it just feels more OG.
I'm about to start throwing stuff.
It feels more OG trilogy. And it's not anything specifically that you can put your finger on.
Yeah. It is. I'll tell you what that feeling is. I'll tell you what you can put. It's good. It's okay to admit it.
No,
it's okay.
I haven't loved all the episodes. I haven't loved all the episodes.
The only person you're lying to right now is yourself. It's okay.
The episode
the truth
4
will set you free.
Episode 4 is like a complete filler episode. It's pretty much Samurai 7 with two bounty hunters on pretty much a different planet.
Okay.
Like it wasn't a great episode.
Oh, I'm also gonna. People have said there is nothing Star Wars, like everything, like they haven't done anything that feels this Star Wars since like the original. Wrong. This is the other thing that makes me mad. So you're saying Rebels you didn't think felt Star Wars? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to tell.
Everybody
acts
I
like
don't
this
because
is first.
Clone Wars and Rebels I don't because when I'm watching an animated thing,
dude, we're about to fight. Like seriously,
it's a different world. You can't make a computer have the feeling and the textures of that world. I'm just telling you, it's the care that Dave Filoni and
I don't know
John
if we're friends
Favreau
anymore.
Have put into this. That's
I think
fine.
you just broke up our friendship.
That's fine because Star Wars, Rebels and Clone Wars, wonderful shows. They feel like very similar together. But do I put them in the same book as the movies? No. Do they feel like the movies? No. Do I watch Force Awakens and that feels Star Wars to me too? Yes. Force Awakens felt Star Wars. That felt like returning to Star Wars. People say who didn't are just lying to themselves, because it did, because there were rehashes of the original trilogy in that movie, just like there'll be rehashes of the original trilogy in the newest movie coming out. But The Mandalorian feeling like Star Wars
is meaningless, and it's
meaningless.
not true.
It's not meaningless. It's not meaningless. When you watch it, you haven't watched it. You can't say that because you haven't watched it. I would have said the same thing. The hype train for this was crazy.
So when I watch this, I'm going to go, oh, God. You know that feeling deep inside?
No.
That's Star Wars. That's how I'm going to describe that.
The world is the same. It's not all shiny and new like the prequels, because the prequels, everything was shiny. The ships were shiny. Everything, it was a golden age, right? The OG trilogy, everything was kind of in turmoil. Everything was kind of more dirty, more run down. It was just like when you walked into the cantina on Mos Eisley, like it's just... I can't describe it to you, man. You gotta
and
watch
that's
it.
my point.
You gotta
that's
watch
ultimately
it.
my point. No
it.
one can actually describe it, and they use the
because
word.
it's a feeling. It's a feeling. You can't.
It feels like
you
Star
can't
Wars.
always describe
It
feelings.
just feels like Star Wars.
Can you always?
I woke up this morning and I was like, dude,
Can
I
you
just feel like
always
Star Wars
express
right now.
the way you feel about like things.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
No, you can't. No, I know you, because you're always, well, you know, like, no, I don't know, like, I know, like, you know,
Unbelievable.
but I'm saying it does.
Wrong.
It doesn't feel more
You're
like
wrong.
Star Wars. What they're saying, and here's the correction for people. They're not saying Mandalorian feels more like Star Wars than anything else that's come out. They're saying Mandalorian feels like the original trilogy more than anything's felt like the original trilogy, because it's set so close
It's got that
to the same.
Star Wars feeling.
It's set so close
That's
to the same
literally
time
what people
frame.
have said. I could probably pull up the posts.
I'm not
and-
saying what other people are saying. I'm just saying this is how this is what they're mislabeling. It feels like the OG trilogy, as opposed to like everything feels Star Wars. You show me TIE fighters, you show me that it feels Star Wars. Solo feels Star Wars. Everything has felt Star Wars.
So this is like the original trilogy? Okay, well, what does that mean, anything?
Because that's what people have the font. Everyone, if you talk about Star Wars in any circle, even prequel loving, anybody who loves everyone will say the OG trilogy is still the best. Everyone will say the OG trilogy is like the heart of Star Wars, right? Because that's what everything spawns off of.
Well, and arguably has the three best movies in it.
It's the closest to everyone's. Debatable, because I will say they're. No, well, that's a different discussion for a different time. But
we've already had that discussion.
I don't think they are. I don't think totally they are.
Well, I mean, you
There's
can at
bits
least
and pieces from each trilogy.
Would you say the
that's
best
amazing.
movie was in that one?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
That's
would
the
you
best.
say-
No. I wouldn't say the best movie. I'd say the best story has been those three. That's the best story.
So what would you say is the best movie?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm about to discount your opinion real hard, so you
it's-
choose your words
usually-
wisely.
Some days it's Return of the Jedi, because that's the one that most associate with my childhood. Some days it's Empire Strikes Back, because that's one I most associate with my current like fandom love.
Okay.
But yes, I guess they'd have the best movie.
Yeah.
They would have the best movie, but that's
And they
essentially
have-
because they have the best story. But that's what everyone's feeling center is connected to the most, right?
Because it has the most good movies.
No, yes, but it's also because that's where their connection to Star Wars usually starts, is somewhere in that OG timeline, right? So when people say it feels Star Wars, that's not what they mean, because everything feels Star Wars. You show me TIE fighters, show me lightsabers, it's Star Wars. What they're saying, and I don't even know that they know that they're saying this, is it just feels like it gives you those OG trilogy feels like when you were a kid, when you're watching that and you're most associating it with the thing you love most about Star Wars. That's why it feels like that. Because it's number one, the closest in, well, Rogue One is like right before. But Rogue One got a lot of the same love. People said that felt like Star Wars for the same reasons. That this one. Damn. I almost forgot about Rogue One. When we're talking about the best movie, Rogue One's really high up there for me.
Not a lot of other people would agree with you.
Rogue One is really high up there for me. So,
but you know,
but again, it's still in that time frame.
Right. Oh, I don't disagree with you. I'm just trying to. My point
And
is that
of the 4 movies they've made since Disney's got it, Force Awakens, Last Jedi,
how do you feel
Rogue
about
One,
Han
and
Solo? That's right in that same time frame too.
No. That is.
In fact, it's full of Star Troopers too. Like,
no,
man,
it's
there's like
it's a little bit before.
It's like
Solo
there's like a
takes
whole
place-
bunch of
Nope.
really old Star Wars things that you should be fond of in that movie, but unfortunately,
Solo
people
takes place. I like Solo. But Solo takes place closer to prequels than it does to OG trilogy.
Okay, now you're stretching.
It does.
Now you're
No,
really
it does.
stretching.
It takes place closer to the prequels.
So how old do you think Han Solo is in that movie?
And closer to the OG trilogy. I don't care. I'm just saying, if I was going to connect it, and I don't hate Solo. You're not talking to someone
So
who
there's
hates
still
Solo.
clones running around in Solo? No, is the short
Rex,
answer.
Well, because it takes
No,
place. It
get
takes
rid of
place-
Rex.
Rebels. We're talking about Rebels.
Don't count Rex
We're
because
talking
he's.
about-
I'm
we're talking
talking
about
clones
Rebels.
in the army.
Right, we're
Because
ta-
the end of prequels, they still had clones, right?
Right.
Okay.
But in Rebels, they don't.
So you're telling
Would
me?
you say Rebels is most like the OG trilogy, even though that's closely to it?
I mean, it's literally right the same
Plus-
time as Rogue One.
Plus, this is the first time. Another reason I think is this is the first time they've explored what happens after Jedi, like right after Jedi.
Okay. What does that have to do with anything?
People always want to know what happens what happens after Jedi. We've gotten all the story
Right, but
beforehand. You don't going back that far is.
But my point is just because it's close to the original trilogy or it has like similarities of the original trilogy, that's not what people are. It's good is ultimately what people like about it. And they say the Star Wars feeling is, and my response is, it's good. That's what they're trying to describe. Because you
it's
have
not,
other
though.
movies that are just as close
No.
to the original trilogy.
No.
Yes, because
Okay,
again, Rogue One is
takes place-
closer.
It starts literally the end of Rogue One is the beginning of New Hope.
And
Yes.
Rebels is right next to it, which you said
No,
doesn't
Rebels
count.
is prior to. Rebels
Barely.
is prior to.
They're literally in Rogue One.
No, they're not.
They have their ship
The
that
Ghost.
flies. Yes,
the Ghost
so they're
is also
in Rogue One.
The Ghost is also in Rise of Skywalker coming up. The Ghost is one of the many ships in the shot at
Right,
the end of
but-
Rise of Skywalker. So are we saying that they're in Rise of Skywalker too? So then they'd fall in like all categories.
Okay, but we're talking about canon. It's like when we watch
Regardless.
Rebels, it's
So
whatever.
Rebels is different. So Rebels is different. You're
do you mean?
agreeing because you're saying Rebels is over
No,
here.
no. My point is we can talk about the canon and how technically you're wrong all day.
I'm not wrong.
But whatever.
I'm just telling
But
you.
if we were
you
to
need
play a timeline out,
watch it. First
if we
off,
were to lay a timeline out, there's
let's-
plenty of not people's favorite that people don't describe as good
No.
movies that are just as close as Mandalorian. It's
No.
not how close it is.
No.
It isn't. It's the quality of the film.
yes,
It's
the proximity to it becoming after the fact of Jedi. That's what I'm saying. After the fact of Jedi.
Well, now you're splitting hairs. Now you're like, oh, well,
No,
as
no,
long
no,
as it's
no.
after.
No,
Before
no,
doesn't
no.
technically count, even though it's closer.
Because we've had-
I had
because
to
we've had
change
the
my argument
prequels.
because
No.
you proved me wrong.
No, you didn't prove me wrong.
I kinda did.
I will give you Rogue One. I will give you Rogue One that is really close, but that's also really good. And that also, when that came out,
Other people wouldn't
said-
agree with that.
I don't give a shit what other people say.
But my point
a
is
lot
the
of-
same people who
and-
say Mandalorian is...
a lot of other people when Rogue One came out, they said this feels like Star Wars for the exact same reasons that they say this feels like Star Wars.
Because they're wrong and dumb.
They're not wrong, and they're entitled to their opinion. You're entitled to your shitty opinion. But that doesn't make you wrong. It just means that your opinion's shitty.
I can't help it that Mandalorian might
You
be good,
have-
but people need to learn
You
that
haven't
it's
watched
not
it.
because it's got a Star Wars feeling. It's because it's good.
It's both.
It can be good and not have the Star Wars feeling, the magical feeling that is what makes good Star Wars content.
I think that's what people. I think that's where people had a disconnect with the Lando one. Or not with the Lando, with the Solo one, is that it didn't feel enough like it was close enough to that stuff, and people didn't really like the Han Solo character or the actor.
There's so much bad about it. It's not the Star Wars feeling that it was lacking. It's so much other things
but
that it's
you
lacking.
also look at the production of that, where it had Lord and Miller on it, then it had Ron Howard,
And that's my point.
That's way different.
That's my point. It's not a magical feeling about seeing stormtroopers.
When I said earlier, I said it's because Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. That's what I said in the beginning of this argument was. It was Dave
But
Filoni.
your description isn't that they're good at their jobs. It's
No,
they
they're-
understand Star Wars.
they're
That's
not-
why they made a good Star Wars
They
movie.
do. They do understand Star Wars, and they're great storytellers.
But that's really what I'm saying is it has nothing to do with understanding Star Wars. It's
Yes,
the
it
fact
does.
that they're great storytellers.
No.
Like, yes, you have to understand your medium to kind of have an idea of what you're doing.
Ryan Johnson didn't understand it and swung and missed, regardless of how you feel. I actually like
But he
Last
swung
Jedi.
and missed not because he didn't understand it, but because his goal was to subvert your
His
expectations.
goal was to make a Ryan Johnson movie and not a Star Wars
No,
movie.
it was to subvert
No?
your expectations.
His-
He's
yes.
quoted as like,
Yes.
I'm going to subvert your expectations like
Exactly.
a million times.
Because that's what his movies are.
Well,
That's
it's
not
because what he
Star
wanted
Wars-
to do.
No. Yeah.
There's too much.
That's
He's
the
even
type
been
of the
quoted
director.
as like,
Yes.
oh, like no matter what you do, you're gonna fail, kind of, because like there's so
No.
much built up to this, and people have these expectations in their head, and no matter what you do, you're gonna be wrong. So
Nope.
what I want them to, when they leave the film,
He can say he swung for the fences and you're going to be damned if you don't. That's not true. It's not true. And Mandalorian proves that.
So what you're saying is no, he's wrong. He didn't just try to subvert your expectations. He just didn't understand the Star Wars feeling.
No. He wanted to make a Rian Johnson movie. Directors have egos. Rian Johnson has a style.
Okay, and so he
So
just
instead
completely
of-
flipped all of these and just did these bait and switches on everything because that's his style.
Exactly. Watch Knives Out.
This video is going to be like 80 more minutes
fine, I
if
don't
we
even
keep
care.
going.
But that's what I'm saying is he wanted to make a Rian Johnson movie that was Star Wars, not a Star Wars movie from Rian Johnson. Where J.J. Abrams, complete opposite approach. Regardless of what you think the tropes in Force Awakens are or not, J.J. Abrams came in and said, I'm going to make a Star Wars movie. Because what's J.J. Abrams known for? Big twists, crazy stuff like Lost and that sort of like.
I guess, but like his Star Trek, like where was your big twist there?
I'm not talking about this, but see, he went into it making a Star Trek movie.
No, he didn't.
Like
no, he didn't. He made
that's
a
true.
Star
He made a
Wars
Star Wars
movie out of that Star
true.
Trek movie,
But
which is my point. He understands Star Wars.
He understands
feeling.
It's not a
But
feeling.
no one's acting like
It's not
that movie was like as good as Mandalorian. You know what I mean?
Oh, Force Awakens better than Mandalorian right now for me.
Okay, maybe you, but my point is the people that I'm frustrated with are these people who make up a magical feeling is
they're
what
just-
makes good content for Star Wars.
They're just new
When it's
trilogy.
really
It's new trilogy haters trying to spin it that they're not new trilogy haters because look how much they love this, and so they can give them
and that's my point.
further.
And that there is no such thing as a Star Wars feeling.
But
It's
there
just
is.
good content. You
No.
either make a good Star
No.
Wars product or you don't.
No,
and it
that's
falls
not
into
true.
has Star Wars feeling or doesn't if it's good or not.
Yes, quality comes into that feeling 100%.
No, my point
I'm not
is
saying-
that
but it's not
people
just-
make up this
it's not
feeling to
just 'cause they're good
legitimize
at-
hating the new ones.
No, I think the Star Wars feeling is real.
I disagree. Because I think there's plenty of Star Wars content that
There are things I watch, and when I watch them, they connect me to my childhood, which is a feeling.
okay.
Which is it's a nostalgia feeling, but that's what it is, right? And when I get that connection to like how much I love that, you're right. There is a quality that comes into it, but it also is a feeling that's attached to my overall feeling about what Star Wars is. And Star Wars is different to every single individual.
But my
right?
point
What Star Wars
is you
to
like
me-
new Star Wars content,
Yeah,
right?
I like all Star Wars content.
Okay, so
I don't hate on anything.
Nostalgia
Well, okay,
aside.
except Resistance. Star Wars Resistance is trash. Don't try to change my mind.
don't know
It's
what
trash. It's the new animated show. It's the one that,
Oh, really?
It's the one that came out. Like Poe Dameron's in it, and it's like before the Force Awakens. I want to say, but a few years. That's trash.
Really?
Don't like it.
Animated?
Yeah, it's on Disney. It's on your Disney Plus. You could watch it. It's
How
not
many-
great.
Has it got a couple seasons or
It's
what?
on season 2 right now. Not wonderful.
No?
Not wonderful.
Way different than Rebels?
Oh God, yeah. God, yes. Like it. I don't know. And like I said, I watched most of season 1, and then I have zero interest. There's enough things I want to watch that I don't watch. I'm not going to take time
To watch this
watching
weird
things
Star
that I
Wars thing
don't
that's
like
good.
watching. Like that. Right. I don't like. And you're right. Quality does come into it. But,
Quality is
but
99% of it. I
No,
feel like
I don't
this
think so.
feeling.
I don't think so.
So you're saying a bad Star Wars
Because
film.
the feeling I have about Star Wars has nothing to do with how good Return of the Jedi is, but when I watch things that make me remember like watching them with my dad and my brother on sick days at home, and that's the feeling that I get, that nostalgia feeling, and that feels Star Wars to me. You know what
But
I'm saying?
my point is, well, first of all, if that's really what you're describing, then it's not a Star Wars feeling; it's a nostalgia. There, we just nailed it. Found what
But-
that feeling is. It's called nostalgia, and
That
it
could
works
be-
sometimes
that-
and doesn't work
that could-
other times.
exactly.
It usually works when the film is good.
It works even sometimes when it's not good.
But I mean, my point is,
It works better when it is higher quality. Yes.
at the end of the day, if you're just combining good movies with nostalgia, it's not a Star Wars feeling. It's good movies mixed with nostalgia.
No, it's not just good movies.
You
mixed with nostalgia.
literally just said,
I said
the
there's a
feeling when it brings
there's a
me back to dad.
But when
and,
when it brings you back to a certain time, or it brings you back
that's
to
not
like
Star Wars feeling. That's nostalgia.
No, because you're going back to like the first times watching the films, or,
Which
like,
is nostalgia. It's just nostalgia for a specific
Okay.
product.
So
we
Star
figured
Wars-
out what the feeling.
Star
Star
Wars
Wars feeling is nostalgia
pretty much.
mixed with a couple sprinklings of if it's good, that really is going to make people actually admit that it's
If it's good.
Star Wars feeling. But if it's not good, then we're going to be like,
Something could still feel Star Wars and not be good though.
But my point is okay, describe
I.e.
one.
Solo. Solo feels Star Wars. Solo's not good.
But see, no one agrees
I don't
with that.
hate that. Yes,
People
they do.
no, okay,
No
I
one
shouldn't say
No one has never said that Star Wars that it doesn't feel.
I shouldn't use all-encompassing statements like that. I agree, but people
No one has
described
said Solo doesn't feel
Mandalorian
like
as the
Star
first
Wars.
thing to feel like Star Wars since
The OG trilogy.
yes.
Because
Han
of its
Solo happened
proximity
since then.
to the end of the OG trilogy.
And again,
yes, it's good. Yes, it's good. It has to be good. Baby Yoda does a lot of it.
But
people love Baby Yoda.
my point is, I hate when people describe why it's good as it's got that Star Wars feel.
That's not the only thing people say.
That's what I see is the most common. It's just got that Star Wars feeling that you don't get from any of the new stuff. And I think that's just, again, the nostalgia mixed with good.
Go watch The Mandalorian. It'll totally give you that Star Wars feeling. Base my banner.
I'm
episode
done.
137. We're out of
The
here.
show's over. I'm
Thor.
canceling it.
I'm Thor. That's Brian. Like, share, subscribe. Deuces. We out.
If you like what you just saw, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like our Facebook page.